Good evening and welcome to SEC Basketball Reaction. Oh, hum. The SEC has another team in the Sweet 16. That's what, 7 now, Blake?
Yeah, NCAA tournament record, 7. 7 advance to the Sweet 16. So, I mean, almost
But this
half the
league's
Sweet
overrated,
16.
right?
Almost half the Sweet 16, the
Yeah.
SEC. So, of course, now we'll move the goalposts a little bit more. Now you got to get at least 4 in the Elite 8 or something like that. But that's where we are right now. So, yeah, I think that's how it works now. I mean, when you're this good in the regular season, I mean, the expectations we knew would be pretty high, and Alabama wins, Ole Miss wins, and here we are. So, yeah, 7 in, and listen, start off with longtime Ole Miss fan and Nature Happiness. We said Max and I should have stuck with the gut bracket. The gut bracket looked a lot better than the analysis of the video predictions. We both talked ourselves into North Carolina. We talked ourselves into Iowa State. But you know something, Chris? I was thinking about this. The you know what has not really been out in full force in the NCAA tournament so far. And we all know what the you know what is, right? So it had to let us know before we got to the Sweet 16 that it's still here. It's just,
Yeah. Took
it's
me a
just kind
second.
of
Took me a
waiting
second.
in the background,
Right.
to come out when needed. But luckily for the Rebels, it worked out very well.
All right.
Yeah.
I,
Chris, I
I
think there's
got
a
to.
big delay. You might want to try to reboot. I think you're like 7-8 second delay right now. So maybe try to reload the browser, come back in. I can tell that you're on a bit of a delay. But all right, when Chris gets back in, we're gonna talk about all this. Skylar, I know, said jumped in for the first time this weekend. We did talk about Kentucky a little while ago. The Cats advancing too as well. But like we said, everybody jump in. We're going to kind of do an overview of the entire second round, look ahead to the Sweet 16, all that good stuff. But we will clean up some thoughts on Alabama and Ole Miss. We've not gotten to those two games today yet. So that's how it works. So, hey, we did say that about Ole Miss. That's what we kept saying all year, right? We kept saying, hey, this is a team that can get to the Elite Eight. The old guards. Those two words we use together a lot. And, what do you know? We all kind of turned against it. Not all of us. Chris still had it in his bracket, I think. He had Ole Miss in the Elite Eight. Give Chris the credit here for him. Max and I started second-guessing ourselves, but here they are, one win away from the Elite Eight, and we will find out who they're going to play here in just a bit. So, yeah, boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get Auburn versus Ole Miss Part 4. Is that going to happen? So, we're going to find out. But, all right, let's get into some thoughts here. You guys hop in, give us your thoughts on what you saw today. We're going to talk quickly, as we said, about Alabama and Ole Miss. We haven't mentioned those games yet. We're going to combine those together tonight, given the schedule. So let's go back to the Tide for just a second. They did win 80-66. Got the win over St. Mary's. We said at the end of the Kentucky stream, wanted to go back and kind of watch how the game played out there towards the end. And, I mean, it kind of was what we expected, right? I mean, this was one where St. Mary's kind of kept trying to make a run there. I mean, it was stuck at 10 for a bit. It got to, after that, I feel like Alabama started to kind of make their move. And it seemed like every time, I think St. Mary's got it down to, it was 8 a couple times there in the final 7 minutes, something like that. But in the end, they just couldn't find enough points and couldn't slow Alabama down enough to get the win. So, yeah, Chris, I mean, I think with Alabama, it was one where we said it was all about kind of how this game would be dictated from a pace standpoint. And well, just me, I'll talk to myself for this one, but I'll go to Big Baller Brett for this. St. Mary's gave up 80 points for the first time in 5 years. Is that the right stat? I know someone brought it up earlier, talking about kind of the statistic there as to how it worked out, but that may be the case, Big Baller Brett. You'll have to confirm that. But, yeah, I mean, we said I think the pace was going to really be the thing. If Alabama got going, it was going to be difficult, and I feel like that's how it played out, right? I mean, we said, like, Alabama's going to usually get their points. I mean, how many teams, which is kind of ironic, one of the teams, Ole Miss, who kind of held Alabama down this season, like that has just been the outlier for them. They just not have many games like that. And so I think it was going to always be tough for St. Mary's to be able to hold them down completely. And that's kind of how it worked out. So, if you look at like the overall stats from that game, I mean, you're not going to beat Alabama shooting 34%. Alabama shot 52% in this game. St. Mary's just could not get enough going, I think, on the offensive end. And Alabama won the paint. I mean, they outscored them 42-30 in the paint, which is not surprising, too, with Alabama. So, St. Mary's we said it, like the only comp you had for St. Mary's was like Gonzaga. And they had been able to slow them down 3 times this year in terms of like the game style, but Alabama's just a different beast. So just a different beast. So that's how it works. Chris, are you there?
Yeah, let's try this again. Of course, Orio's getting cranked up in the background as soon as I get the internet settled, because we can't have it all at once, can we? All right, I want to, having heard very little of anything you just said, I did hear you talk about Alabama, but I want to lead with something back to Ole Miss for a minute. Is this closer to truth or hot take? Ole Miss for about, 36 minutes had the most impressive performance in the entire NCAA tournament. Now, I know at the last 3-4 minutes, the plant foot kind of slipped about 3 inches on the landing, didn't exactly nail it, but good enough to get on the medal stand. But I thought Ole Miss, for 90-something% of that game, looked as good as anyone's looked in this tournament.
No, they looked really good. They were fantastic. I don't think there's any question about that. When you're the 6th seed and you do that to the 3 seed, who, as we said, we thought maybe Iowa State was kind of being looked at as one of those teams. Yes, they had the injury situation, but you're like, man, it's still a pretty good team. And they came out and just took it to Lipscomb in round 1. But, man, Ole Miss just came out and took it to them here in this game. Certainly helped out by the fact that they just shot lights out against a really, a good defensive team. Like, to be able to do that, and they kept bringing it up on commentary, that was the big thing that stood out. I mean, you're talking about a top 10 defensive team in the country, and Ole Miss just came out, shot 58% from the floor, 58% from 3. Just remarkable stuff for the Rebels in that game. Obviously, to have as many guys as they did, just knock down shots. I mean, Sean Perdue, again, we talked about earlier, like Lamont Butler, his value to Kentucky. Sean Purdue's value to Ole Miss off the charts, too, when it comes to just how important that guy's been this season. He finishes with 20 points in this game. Malik Dia had a good game, 18-8. I thought that was a huge, storyline heading into this one. They needed that. Morrell has 15, hits all 3 of his 3-pointers. You had Brakefield off the bench with 19. I mean, Brakefield missed 2 shots, perfect. Elsewhere, it seemed like in this game, had a couple turnovers, but who cares? Juju Murray had 11. We said it, like these SEC teams that have had these wins, what's been the common theme? It's been a total team effort. Like, you've had just contributors across the board, guys stepping up everywhere. And that's kind of what you got in that game for Ole Miss. But, to bounce back and forth between Ole Miss and Alabama, because like we said, we're going to kind of just clean up both of these games as a whole here, and then we'll look ahead to the Sweet 16, because I know that was what you guys want. We'll start looking ahead, but we will do that tomorrow morning too on the show. But when Chris Youngblood's banking in 3s from the corner, come on, it's going to be hard to beat the Tide. And that one he shot where he banked in, I was just like, that's our guy, Chris Youngblood. Max probably shed a tear somewhere when he saw that bank 3 from the corner. But 2 very impressive performances, but like you mentioned, you can put Ole Miss right there near the top. So
it's just wrong that we have to do this without Max Barr tonight.
Well, the man doesn't have a voice.
As sick as he is, he's probably doubly sick having to sit this one out.
Yeah, he's gonna try to come back on, I think, tomorrow. But his voice has been gone for 2 days basically. So it's hard to do a live show when you don't have a voice. Trust me, I've tried to push through that before, and you guys know it doesn't sound great. So, Mac's been under the weather. Who knows? Maybe it was one of these other conferences trying to infiltrate the great Max Barr during tournament time. That's my guess. but not worked so far. By the way, Red Car Guy, $2 super chat. Maryland, the buzzer beater was a travel, he says. War Eagle. I have to go back and watch that replay. I saw it live, but I only watched it one time. I didn't get a chance because I was watching Ole Miss. But, yeah, I have to rewatch that. So, all right. What else we got here? Chris, what else you got? Thoughts on these two games?
I want to hit Ole Miss again. True or false? When Ole Miss plays, when Dia and Padula both play like that, there aren't 5 teams left in this tournament that are beating Ole Miss.
Well, I mean, yeah, if we're getting down to the Sweet 16, it's give me the SEC teams. But I don't know. I mean, that's a hard cutoff number, but I see what you're saying. No, I mean that combination. I mean, Dia has kind of always been the guy that I feel like we looked at and said, hey, you know, Malik Dia, when he gets going and he's the man, like that dude he's hard to stop. You know, just all the physical gifts that he has. And then, like we mentioned, Sean Padula, you just aren't going to find many better when it comes to just pure confidence. And that dude just does not shy away from anything. The pressure never gets to him, it seems like, no matter what the game is, how it's going, all that. So, yeah, that's kind of just the way it works. But, yeah, Chris, try your internet again. I know you're sending me a message. Try it again. We'll see if we can get this to work. If not, I'll entertain the chat here for a little bit. So, all right, guys, you know it wouldn't be the SEC marching on to the Sweet 16 without technical difficulties here at Southeastern 16. But, yeah, everyone, just so we know, like Max is under the weather. So he's not interviewing for the Texas job. It seems like that's going to Sean Miller. If you guys saw that report, we'll talk about that this week, probably tomorrow in a video. I think that's interesting. But, yeah, Max has lost his voice. And who knows, maybe Max has lost his voice from just simply screaming at the idea that the SEC is sending 7 teams to the Sweet 16. Did we ever consider that? So, something to think about. But can you get an ad read? Sure. Tell anybody you want me to. If you want me to read an ad, I'll read an ad for you. Give me a sponsor. But you can also, of course, visit our friends at BracketBids. If you guys are having fun with the free pick'em contest over there, the auction draft leagues, keep telling you, support our friends at BracketBids. They do a great job over there, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying that. But yeah, download BracketBids, the app. You can also visit them, bracketbids.com. Lots of fun stuff, as you know, going over there during this tournament. So, all right, you want Sanders. We haven't talked about Sanders in a while, have we? We'll get to them at the end of the show. But for now, let's talk more about the basketball action. But again, as Chris said, Ole Miss, tremendous stuff from the Rebels to put up 91 against that Iowa State team. I'd have to look at Iowa State in terms of how many points maybe was the most they've given up this season. I'm sure someone knows that stat. But off the top of my head, I don't know that stat. So I know Auburn scored 83 against them. And then I'm trying to see what else. 88 or BYU scored 96 against them in the Big 12 tournament. Looks like that was perhaps, the highest outside of that Iowa State has given up this season, which, again, should not come as a surprise given their defensive numbers. So, Chuck, biggest weekend in the sport, and we're down to just me. Don't make it sound so great, Chuck. Don't sound so excited at that. Listen, what did I do? I did 2 reaction shows yesterday, solo. So, hey, what's a third? So, why not? That one guy, great username, starting to think the SEC isn't overrated. Yeah, maybe something. So, there could be something to that. So, yeah. But, I mean, it's like we said, I think anytime you had the SEC coming into this and you were going to make history, I mean, the goalposts are going to move a lot. But at this point, it's like, hey, we told you guys. We were like, 6 sounded like the magic number of SEC teams in the Sweet 16. I thought 5 would still be fine because that would have likely meant you had your top 4 seeds at the very least in there. And those were the teams that felt like they had the most national championship opportunities. But to have 7, I mean, come on. Like we said, well, what's the headline going to read? SEC already loses a Sweet 16 team. Well, of course they are, because Tennessee and Kentucky are going to play each other. So we know how that works. But That's just how it goes. So, all right, Chris is back. Let's see how this goes. Chris, blink twice.
I just
We'll see how.
have one thing to say on my way back in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try that again.
I don't think it's much better. I don't think it's much better, Chris. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think the reset.
I hope everybody can hear this. Dear AT&T, how about you take the tens of millions of dollars you're spending on advertising and do something about the $1,000 a year I pay you for this crappy connection we've been getting.
Oh boy.
All tournament.
Listen.
I'll try one more thing and I'll be back.
All right. This is tremendous. Oh, you guys in the chat, you're having a time right now. But yeah. Anyways, the VHS quality, Chris, this guy other notes, yeah, that's how it works. But Ryan, come on, Chris, there are other providers out there. Go find another provider. So, yeah. But Salty Tiger, yeah, you checked and you confirmed the SEC could potentially have 6 teams in the Elite Eight. Yes, that is a fact. So, again, one has already been eliminated. Kentucky or Tennessee will not make it to the Elite Eight. We know that for sure. But we also know that one SEC team will be in the Elite Eight. And so, yeah, we know that for sure. So, yeah. But anyways. All right, let's keep moving along here. So, yes, as Big Baller Brett's noting, we start to look ahead. Alabama's going to get BYU. That's an interesting stat. Big Baller Brett, we will bring up. By the way, people in the chat calling for Chris to put the AOL CD in. Remember the America Online CDs you had to put in? What was it, floppy disks? You had all this stuff, right? Incredible. Wonder if that would work right now if you found a computer that could use that. But yeah, this is where we are in terms of the conversation around the internet. But yeah, Chris maybe is on America Online. That could be possible. Yeah, BYU is a tough matchup, I think, for Alabama. We said that. BYU playing like a top 5 team in the country per the advanced metrics coming into this tournament. We know Auburn and Michigan are going to match up. We know Florida is going to play Maryland after the buzzer beater, which I know a little controversy surrounding that. And we also know that Tennessee and Kentucky are going to play each other. Ole Miss waiting to find out their opponent. And I just can't keep up. There's probably somebody else I forgot to mention. So that's just life in the SEC. Arkansas, Texas Tech. That's right. So, yeah. So we got a lot of potential to see how it plays out. But, yeah, that's where we are. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? Chat. I'm turning it over to you since I am flying solo here as we get ready for the Sweet 16. Tomorrow, the plan will probably be we'll do our live show in the morning. We'll talk about the Sweet 16, look a little bit more at these matchups and all that kind of stuff. And then we'll start to work on the prediction videos, which, as we said, the Tennessee-Kentucky preview video, I've not decided who I'm going to pick yet. So your bribes/super chats are still welcome if you would like. But, yeah, Ryan wants to talk about the Alabama depth. I can do that because, like we said, I mean, getting Youngblood back in the mix when they did the season, that was crucial because, Youngblood was our guy. Coming into the year, we just thought he's going to make a big impact on this team. He did that here. Alabama had 6 guys in double figures. Of course, he was one of them. But yeah, I mean, the depth is something. When you got a guy like Mo D who impacts the game the way that he does, coming off the bench. Same thing with Aiden Holloway, right? I mean, that's just they got so many options for the rotations that they can play. And we know Reed's been in and out with injuries and that kind of stuff. But, yeah, the Alabama depth, if they make a run, let's say they get to Duke, potentially. Although, my Oregon Ducks, speaking of the gut bracket, you guys know I should have maybe stuck with Oregon, although I haven't looked at that score here recently. I know they got off to a good start. Okay, so Arizona wound up coming back. Strong finish to the first half, but I gotta watch the second half of that at some point. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think Alabama's depth can still carry them pretty far, as we know in this tournament. So, there he is.
Let's try this again. I don't have high hopes.
It's okay. It's fine. I don't have high hopes either because you're already frozen. So, all right, Chris, I'm gonna give you the night off. you can hop off. I will take this one home. Maybe it will work better in the morning when we get things started on Southeastern 16. just tremendous. The SEC sets a NCAA tournament record. Max doesn't have a voice. Chris doesn't have internet. And I'm over here in the garage with Barry, who's a little bit nervous about the rain right now. But nonetheless. So, yeah, I mean, Chris, you could go to audio only, as Michael mentions. You could certainly do that if you would like. So I know you can hear me right now. You can jump back on if you want. But there you go. All right. So where were we? Alabama's depth, certainly one of the things. Yeah, red card guy, I'll look back at the Maryland buzzer beater. I just haven't had a chance to watch it a second time. So shout out to Ryan. $1 super chat. He's pitching in for the Chris Lee Internet Fund. Chris, you can go audio only, by the way, if you want to. Turn your camera off. We can try that and see if that works. We can look at that. So if you want to try to turn your camera off, hop back on. We'll see if there's a delay on that. So, well, we can give it a shot.
No, you're the enemy. I've hit every last reset button on every extender router in this house. So we'll see if that works. If not, I will do audio only.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's the good thing. Zach leaves a $5 super chat saying we could be stuck with worse people. I guess would rather it would be Max doing this solo. So at least Zach weighs in and he's like, you know what?
Thanks, Zach.
We're in the middle of this. You know, we've got Blake. We really want Max, but yeah. So, anyways, Don, Chris, if you have a point, make it quickly. So, all right. Chris, you can hop off. It's fine. I just don't think the internet's going to hold. Even for your audio, I don't know if the audio is even going to hold, honestly. I think it's shot. So you can try it if you want. Just turn your video off if you try to come back on. But I think that's where we are right now tonight. So anyways, again, that's how it goes. But yeah, Quinn, $5 super chat from Quinn. Not even an SEC person, but the haters of the conference making you brag. Yeah, I understand it, Quinn. We all have seen the narratives out there and all this. So, yeah, we kind of see how it goes. So, shout out to Ryan. Yeah, $2. Hey, appreciate it, Ryan. Yeah, appreciate your support of the channel, and should be a fun time. The Sweet 16 coming up for all you guys that still have teams in it, because like we said, Tennessee, Kentucky is going to be the one that gets the most attention, just based on the fact that it's SEC on SEC. But yeah, nonetheless, that's boy, this is just, I mean, this is one of the most absurd live streams we've ever done, which makes sense on a historic year for the SEC. So yeah, we were going to go longer with this stream, but we may not now. So it's Chris's version of hide and seek, as Mother Carol calls it. So this is a game within the game here. So
I don't even know what to say because I don't know what's been said at this point.
Chris, just give us your final thoughts, and I'll have some fun with the chat here for a few minutes, and I'll hop off. So it's fine.
Final thoughts. I thought Ole Miss and Alabama just commanded it, especially Ole Miss almost from the jump. Experienced guards seem to be the key in winning this tournament, and that showed for both of them today.
Yep, agreed. I think the experience is definitely something that.
Did you hear any of that?
I did. You're just on a delay, Chris. Do some kind of hand signals and sign off. Well, don't do one certain hand signal because that may get us thrown off YouTube. But any hand signals you want to give on the way out, that's your fair game. But yeah. So, anyways, you're free to move about the country.
Maybe I'll just. Are we still on the delay here?
Yeah, you just go ahead. I'll finish this one up. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's all good.
Goodbye. Congrats to Ole Miss and Alabama.
All right, he's out of here. Okay. Anyways, I don't even know where we were, but yeah, I know you guys keep bringing up the SEC overrated stuff that you're seeing out there, and again, just it is what it is at this point. If the SEC doesn't win the national championship, that'll be something that's talked about. If they don't get however many in the Final Four, it's fine. Good performances so far. That should be the focus. Forget everything else. So Deacon says over-under on 4 Elite 8 teams. Well, we know we're getting 1, so it's like you got to find those other ones. I mean, Florida's a 1 seed, Auburn's a 1 seed, so I think you've got to feel like naturally they should advance based in that scenario. So then it's like, who's the other one, right? Alabama is going to be the seed favorite against BYU, although I think that's an interesting matchup for all the reasons I mentioned coming in this tournament. Arkansas, Texas Tech, I think that's a pretty good matchup for Arkansas. And then we'll find out. I think Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss matches up with either one of these teams. But yeah, so how about this? To try to do the reverse mojo, I'll say under. So let's see if I can push that forward. How about that? So, anyways, all right. Schedules Chris wants for Thursday and Friday. Yes, I can give that to you. That was actually going to be one of my things that I was going to pull up here, but you might have to watch me actually pull it up in real time since I don't have anyone to sort of that's where we need like an ad read, like a pre-read ad read for you guys, but that's okay. I will give you the schedule though for next weekend and what it's going to look like there. So here is your, I don't know if we have the times yet. ESPN doesn't list the times, but you guys may have something. That may wait till the final game comes out. But we know on Thursday we're going to have Florida, Alabama, Arkansas. On Friday we're going to have Auburn, Michigan, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then I assume Ole Miss plays on Friday, unless I just said that. I don't remember. But, I think we're still waiting on that from what I see on the ESPN schedule, but somebody on Twitter will probably have it first. So I don't have that pulled up at the moment, but that's kind of where we are so far on that. So, yeah, lots of SEC action going on in the Sweet 16. So, yeah. All right. $5 super chat, Mother Carol. Love the chat members. 98% are happy for everyone who won and disappointed for those who lost. Go SEC. Yeah. That's why our chat is the best. We love you guys. You, again, have been awesome all season, and the fun continues here as we head into the Sweet 16. So, I think that's been the story of the season. We've had a lot of fun here. And now, it's to have this many teams marching on to the second weekend, it's pretty wild. And to get a Tennessee-Kentucky matchup, by the way. I think that's something else, too, as we talked about. The Southeastern 16 bracket contest. Pull it up and let the chat laugh at you. Yeah, I do need to pull that up too. How about that? Let's see, because I have not looked at this since this tournament started. So I have not looked at the bracket challenge, but I'm going to pull it up right now, and we're going to see where everyone ranks in the current standings. So let's see. My bracket, is not doing the best. I'm not ranked highly in the current group. But let's see in the Southeastern 16 group who is currently winning. So let me see if I can pull up the standings here. All right. Some of these are great, by the way. All right, so I can pull up the top 11 here based on this. And let's see what we can find on that. All right, let's pull up the bracket challenge here, and we'll see how this looks. All right. So here is your current setup for the bracket challenge. All right, so at the top, you can see that we've got, let's see, is that a tie or is that, no, we still got one person sitting here, 98.8% on the numbers. Pretty wild there. 490, we got a lot of ties here, 480. Then we kind of keep scrolling down, got a lot of 470 points so far. There's Carter. He's there. Some of you are probably there, and I'm not looking at the chat right now, but mention yourself if you didn't put your actual name on there. He's there. Caleb's horrible picks, not so horrible. So that's kind of the top of the group right now. Meanwhile, yours truly sitting at 35. Not ideal. Not ideal, folks. So you can laugh at us when it comes to this bracket contest. So we've got some people weighing in on where they are in the contest, but that's where we sit at the moment. So, yeah, that's it. So, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do because, again, I'm doing this solo. There you go. I was like, I know you were there somewhere. Boom. there you have it. Salty Tiger, by the way, 80th in the bracket. That's not ideal. But maybe you're setting it up for a comeback. So setting up for a comeback. That's how it works. So nonetheless, if you had 7 SEC teams in the Sweet 16, you're doing okay right now, just as the SEC is, as we get ready to head into next week in the tournament. But all right, guys, I'm going to hop off here shortly. Again, we talked about all the other games. If you're just getting for the first time on the reaction, if you've never watched this channel before and you're like, I'm going to jump on the SEC basketball bandwagon, I trust you. Trust me, we have a lot more shows out there that are much better than this, where it's not just one of us on here. But check out the reaction we did earlier to Florida's win over UConn, Kentucky's win over Illinois, and, of course, all the other reaction we did throughout the weekend, throughout the entire first week of the NCAA tournament. And, yeah, I think a lot of you guys, Jared said, let's just do a live show and a live watch and reaction to the Kentucky highlights. How about that? If I could do that, if, the technical wizard Max Barr could do that, then I would pull up the highlights for you and just do a highlight show. But I can't pull that off solo. So, so tomorrow, Zach said the worst of his brackets in there. But, yeah, tomorrow, Brian, our plan, I think, is we'll do the morning show like we usually do. That'll be an 8:30 or 9 a.m. Central start, depending on time. Probably 9 is my guess. We'll kind of do an early overview of the Sweet 16, just kind of like we were going to do here. Just give you initial thoughts. We won't make our picks or anything like that, but then we'll start to work on our preview videos and everything. So my guess is all the preview videos for the week will be out by Tuesday morning for all the games. So, but don't hold us to that. We got to get Max's voice better, and we got to get Chris's internet better. So, that's the plan for tomorrow. So we'll have a live show tomorrow morning, do a little bit Sweet 16 early preview, thoughts on the matchups, all that kind of stuff. And then, we will put all of our focus into the 6 Sweet 16 videos we will have to do. Of course, 7 teams, 6 previews, extra long previews. Well, it depends on voices and internets, I tell you one thing. I'm not doing the Kentucky-Tennessee video solo. So anyone can come join me for the Kentucky-Tennessee prediction video. I'm not doing that by myself. Can you imagine? But guess what? I've already got an idea what I'm going to do with my pick in that game, knowing that I can't win either way. So let you guys wait and see how that works. But all right, guys, I'm going to hop off. Actually, you want some Sanders? You want to talk about Sanders before we hop off? Should we talk about Ted R. Sanders and that incredible company he has there? Do you remember what it's called? Because I do. It's called Sanders Moving. And Sanders Moving, as you know, your friends and mine, just tremendous people. We know Ted R. is probably sitting back realizing, man, the SEC in the NCAA tournament, 7 teams advancing. It's almost like I'm watching my trucks out there just advancing from destination to destination when it comes to how they run their business, right? And so, formerly known as Ted R. Sanders Moving, Sanders Logistics, a leader among moving companies in Nashville, Tennessee, and the surrounding area. I hear of lots of people right this second, probably around the country, wanting to move to SEC country to get in on the SEC basketball action. And their team of professional movers will put them on that van, get all their stuff ready, and they'll move them here to SEC land. They're focused on delivering efficient, hassle-free moving at an affordable price, whether you're moving across town, across the country, it doesn't matter. Sanders Moving has you covered. Visit them at tedrsandersmoving.com. All right, appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. We'll, of course, have all our prediction videos for the Sweet 16 games. We'll be live throughout the week as usual. And Michigan State get the official win. I've got the score running, but I don't have the game on just for internet purposes. So there you go. We know the opponent now, and we will look ahead to everything there. So, all right. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging in there with us with the technical issues and all that. It happens sometimes, as you know. But, we'll get it all worked out for tomorrow. And, again, we appreciate you watching, and we'll talk to you soon here at Southeastern 16.